Sins. This time, we explore the deadly sin of sloth. Sloth is defined as a reluctance to do anything that requires physical or mental activity. It also means wasting your God-given talents by having an idle and lazy attitude to life.
It's an overindulgence in laziness without any real desire to achieve.
I'm 39 years old. I'm not going to get a career where I can earn millions. I just want to be spoiled and pampered.
I don't think I'm lazy. If I was lazy, I'd be all bulged up and flabby and sitting around.
No, my party didn't cost £4 million. No, I don't buy my friends.
The deadly sin of sloth is eating away at the work ethic that helps develop Western society. Sinners want to live comfortable lives, enjoying what modern society has to offer, but they want it given to them on a plate.
You could easily argue we've got a more slothful society. People had a Protestant work ethic before. They genuinely were driven to succeed.
Sloth is embodied when people do not realise what they have and waste it.
We'll see how one cynical gold digger is obsessed with living the glamorous high life, but refuses to pay for it.
Got to have nice shoes, nice designer clothes, and the wallets. I'll look for somebody on possibly over £150,000 a year.
We'll meet a man accused of scrounging a life of leisure on thousands of pounds worth of state benefits.
It's my choice to have the children. I'm in a free society. I'm in Britain. It's a free democratic society.
I see too many people who can work, who fiddle the system, and I'm having to pay for it.
And we're with an accused slothful rich kid whose £4 million birthday party caused a media scandal.
All I remember is going into this newsagent's in Clapham, buying the Daily Mirror, and we opened it, and suddenly just this double-page spread. And it was at that point that I just broke down into tears.
It's a waste of a life. It's a waste of talent. It's a waste of potential. It's just a waste.
In a recent survey by the financiers Scottish Widows, 20% of respondents under the age of 24 said that they would consider marrying someone only for their money and to obtain a luxurious lifestyle, never having to do a day's work. These self-confessed gold diggers crave a slothful life, being pampered by a sugar daddy. Women such as 39-year-old single mother of 4, Lucy Durans.
I want to drive nice cars, I want to eat in fancy restaurants, I want nice clothes.
Lucy knows exactly what she wants.
A house in the country, its own land with stables at the back. So I can get up in the morning and look over the balcony and see my horses. Swimming pool would be nice, even though I don't swim. We've got the holidays. Holiday in a 5-star plus hotel. Be weighted on hand and foot. I wouldn't like to say it were a shopping list. I'd just like to say they were nice gifts.
But compared to Lucy's current lifestyle, these are all just distant dreams.
People are happy with what they got. I'm not. I'm happy with my family. I'm happy with things like that, but I want more. I don't want to be normal. I don't want to be run-of-the-mill.
But Lucy's not prepared to work for it.
I'm 39 years old. I'm not going to get a career where I can earn millions. And for the work I can do, I'm not going to earn a lot of money to afford what I want to.
She wants a wealthy man to do that for her.
It's everybody's dream, isn't it, to meet some millionaire and live happily ever after. I mean, some people put a pound on lottery and win lottery. I want that. But I'm just going and looking for it.
And any prospective sugar daddy has to meet very strict criteria.
I'll look for somebody on possibly over £150,000 a year and what's already got the financial security behind them.
Lucy's ruthless quest for wealth and status has the full approval of her teenage daughter, Rosie.
It's every girl's dream, isn't it, to be spoiled? Just to be spoiled and have everything you want. So that's what I want as well.
I'm prepared to go out there and look for it, whereas other people probably aren't. I'm probably satisfied with their life, but I'm not.
Unlike others who only dream of tying the knot with a millionaire, Lucy Durans has a cold, calculated game plan to get exactly what she wants. She began by uprooting her family and moving 100 miles south from Sheffield to Milton Keynes.
I've got more chance of meeting somebody with money down here than I have in Sheffield. Because obviously it's closer to London, so there's a lot of people with money in London. Properties are more expensive down here, so they've got to have money to buy them, haven't they?
To many people, Lucy already has plenty to be thankful for. A comfortable rented 3-bedroomed house. And a stylish Mercedes SLK.
I've always had nice cars. I wouldn't drive about in a mini metro, I'd rather walk.
She also has 2 thoroughbred horses.
I love horses. It's like taking care of them. It's not just because they're just an accessory, because they're not an accessory. They're part of my life. And as things are going, I wouldn't like to part with them. I'd like somebody to help me keep them.
This gold digger knows what she wants, but can she find a man who can satisfy her slothful desires?
I do want the luxuries. So I'm not asking for somebody to keep me totally. I just want to be spoilt and pampered.
Sloth, laziness is a very sad sin because inside every person is a potential. But it has to be realised. It has to be developed. It has to be nurtured, mentored. Otherwise, it's just a waste.
In 2008, more than £33 billion was handed out in benefits to British people of a working age, mostly spent on incapacity or income-related benefits. While the vast majority of these claimants are genuine, others are criticised for living off state handouts when they could be working.
In some cases, I believe it is morally wrong, purely because if they're able to work, they should be out working.
I see too many people who can work, who fiddle the system, and I'm having to pay for it.
I think they're just being lazy then, aren't they? Because they know that the money is coming every week, so they just don't want to work.
Scroungers are despised by honest, hard-working people, but it's not always easy to determine the truth. One person who's come under such criticism is Mohammed Salim. He's been unemployed for the last 3 years, but despite having all this free time on his hands, it still hasn't given him the chance to maintain his large garden.
This is my garden, isn't it marvellous, eh? Oh, goodness me. Now this has convinced me it really needs doing up. I got my little kids, I'll bring them out, the little ones, they can go in and they'll think it's the Amazon forest.
Rochdale, Greater Manchester. Not quite the South American tropics, but still an area known for its heavy rainfall. But despite today being perfect gardening weather, Celine can still find excuses.
Every time I've had a thought of trying to get out and do the garden, it's not helped, the weather. And then family commitment, busy with the family, looking after the kids and running around.
It's a shame that Salim can't make use of his large family garden, especially as he has a very large family.
God says, go forth and multiply. I'm just following his commandment. It's my choice to have the children. I'm in a free society. I'm in Britain. It's a free democratic society. So my choice is to have children and have a large family. And I'm prepared to feed them on my hard-earned money.
But the problem is, he's not currently earning an income. His family of 13 live in a 5-bedroom semi-detached house with a mortgage paid for in benefits. The average wage in Rochdale is less than £22,000, but Salim claims a lot more than that from the state. He gets £29,000 a year, £2,000 more than he earned as a teacher 3 years ago.
Come on, let's go.
For a family of this size, the morning routine inside the house is complete chaos.
Hi, lovey. Yeah, who's done that, darling? Warm. Oh, she wants it warm. Oh, blimey. Oh, that's a bit of a struggle, so I've got to find that now. I'm all lost. So even with this, I'm not very efficient.
Salim doesn't take it upon himself to oversee the daunting task of getting their 11 children ready for school. He leaves that job to his wife, Noreen.
I'm a bit of a help, but all the job and all the work is really done by Noreen. She sorts out the kids, she does everything.
And Noreen's work isn't over yet. Once the children are ready, she then has the job of walking them to school as well. 3 years ago, Salim would have also been on his way to work, teaching information technology in Greater Manchester. But it all got too much for him.
No matter how much I tried, you know, getting up earlier and getting off, I used to end up late.
His 6-month contract wasn't renewed, and he hasn't worked since. He should be full of energy to work around the house, but Salim's taking a nap in the corner. He says he needs to take painkillers because of an arthritis condition, and these make him sleepy. Once again, it's Noreen who ends up working around the house.
Hard working with the children, washing up, cleaning up, everything for the children. Yesterday I washing up 5, washing up. Look at my eyes. Every time I'm tired. When the morning time, I'm a little bit tired.
I don't think I'm lazy. If I was lazy, I'd be all bulged up and flabby and sitting around.
And he's on hand as Noreen leaves to pick up the children.
Give us your hand, give us a quick kiss and a cuddle. Ooh, let's get the lady while she's ready. Okay, Noreen, telephone, darling. She's going to get the kids. Telephone's off again.
Do you want to get
Go on. Up there, watch the lady performing.
While Salim insists he's trying to find a job, his lifestyle has come under criticism in the tabloid press and from members of the general public.
Well, I mean, it's very nice to have 11 children. I think we'd all like to, but getting up off your backside, going out and earning the money to bring them all up is another thing.
I think if you went up and down the street, you wouldn't find. I think you wouldn't find 3/4 of the population up and down the street that are on that sort of money now.
I'd have to work 60 hours a week to even, you know, get anywhere near 29,000 a year.
I mean, if you've got 11 children, that's fine. If you've got a very good job and you can go out and provide for them, I don't think other people that go out and work and struggle have to pay into the system to provide for other people's children. I think it's a bit of a cheek, really.
But Salim's slothful life is under threat. Social security officials are questioning his dedication to finding a job.
Then they're threatening me with suspending my income support benefits.
Everybody wants this and that. It's my right. You say, well, what contribution have you put in? Well, none.
There are people that deserve to be living on benefits, and I have no problem with that at all. I think that the problem is far deeper than that. I think the problem is about opportunities, and about proper opportunities, and about genuine equal opportunities.
Lucy Durans is a brazen gold digger who will stop at nothing to find a wealthy man to fund the life of luxury she sinfully desires. And she's joined a dating website that makes no apologies about what it's out to achieve.
I signed up to a website called Gold Diggers.
The word gold digger is obviously quite controversial, but it's to the point, and I think it's for the girl of 2009, 2010.
You can go on other websites and you get everybody on, you know, every Tom, Dick and Harry. I just want somebody wealthy.
Already Lucy thinks she may have struck gold. She's got a date, which is booked for an exclusive Michelin-starred restaurant in Mayfair, central London. But a fancy restaurant isn't enough to satisfy Lucy's requirements.
If I was going out on a date, it'd have to be the nice car and the nice clothes. It's got to be very nicely presented. Got to have nice shoes, nice designer clothes, or a nice suit, and the wallet. Then there's the watch.
But if her date has an expensive watch that will impress Lucy, he's not paying much attention to it. He's already an hour late. Her date is Jordan. He claims to work in the entertainment industry and be worth over £1 million. Eventually he arrives, but not in the flashiest of luxury vehicles.
Thank you. Hi, good evening. Yes. Good to meet you.
Likewise.
Hungry? I'm starving.
Nervous.
Nervous?
Yeah.
About meeting me? Really?
Lucy's clocked the watch. This eagle-eyed gold digger knows it costs hundreds rather than thousands of pounds.
I had a conference call from Dubai at dead on 7, so I only had like 15 minutes to get everything ready.
Jordan wastes no time turning on the charm.
I'm going to tell you now, you do not look your age.
Thank you.
And I do know your age because of the profile and stuff.
I told you anyway.
But I'm treating this more of like meeting someone that I've known psychologically. Does that make sense? Like I already know you. You probably might not understand where I'm coming from, but would you like to try some of this?
Conversation isn't exactly flowing.
So, have you ever been to Benares before? Be honest, totally. What do you think of it, apart from it being very pretentious?
I like it.
I think this is a 5-star Michelin. It's been awarded the stars of the Michelin zone.
Despite claiming to be a millionaire, Jordan doesn't appear to know that restaurants can only be awarded a maximum of 3 Michelin stars. Lucy is starting to doubt that he may be the answer to her slothful dreams.
And spinach. You don't want to try? Serious? Oh well.
I don't think he's the one to fund the lifestyle that I need.
Just rice?
Because the questions I ask, he cannot answer. They go into a long story and then they lead off into somewhere else and never actually answer the question.
And what was the original question?
And I really don't want to go into a relationship that's not based on truth. Don't like lies. So I feel there's something there that's not quite right. What if he asks his friend of the day? I'll just say I'll call you. Yeah.
But there are reasons for Lucy's mistrust of wealthy men she meets through dating websites.
I thought I'd found somebody genuine, and somebody's just made an absolute fool out of me.
I think there is an awful lot of wasted potential out there in society, and I do believe that one of the reasons for that is because we have given the impression that you can be slothful in society and still get by.
In Rochdale, Greater Manchester, unemployed father of 11, Mohammed Salim, is receiving over £29,000 per year in state benefits. Over £2,000 more than he was earning when he was last working 3 years ago. Despite having to rely on state benefits to support his 11 children, it hasn't deterred Salim from wanting to extend a family.
I never say no. I'm making eyes at the wife, and I'm always praying to God for more.
Though his wife Noreen isn't so keen.
I don't want more. I'm okay. I'm okay because very hard work with the children, very, very hard.
For 3 years, he says he's been struggling to find work. He specialises in teaching information technology and has a PhD to his name. But Salim claims his qualifications are preventing him from getting a job.
Yeah, this is just a sample of qualifications. I'm a serial learner. I'm labelled as overqualified. They use the word, you're too overqualified. And people don't want to touch me, employers don't want to touch me, thinking that I might be a challenge to them, I might be a threat to them, I might question them, or I might tell them how to do their work.
But to claim the benefits needed to provide for his 11 children, Salim has to prove to the Department of Social Security that he's actively seeking work. Salim insists he's not work shy.
I'm not sitting idle and enjoying the luxuries of the British taxpayers' money and saying I'm getting £29,000, why should I worry, why should I bother to work? I want to work, give me a job today.
So today, he's off to the local library in Rochdale, searching for a job. But Salim is finding applying for jobs a bit of a struggle.
You're fighting against time, aren't you, all the time? Filling an application is not as easy as it looks. It takes several hours. It's time consuming. I have to think about it, answer the question. Still no luck. I've tried everything and it's not letting me go forward. Chef, is that a foreign word? Sauce chef, I don't know what that is. Software support engineer. I'm not an accountant. Now they've turned me off. So in the middle of my search, the time's up.
Salim thinks it's proved a complete waste of time.
I've no evidence to present to the Job Centre Plus or anybody else saying, what are you doing with your time? I'm in the library trying to make good use of my time in searching for a job, but it's not getting anywhere.
Back at home, Salim's about to get even more frustrated. The postman is delivering a letter from the Social Security that threatens to shatter his life on benefits. They're wondering why he failed to apply for a job he was informed about.
The DSS have been harassing me. Then they're threatening me with suspending my benefits. Now, there was a job they referred to me to take up. They're questioning again why I didn't contact them. I said I failed because, one, I was told of the closing date being the next day, hence could not receive and return the application before closing date. I'm having this, I'm having threats, and never happened before in the 3 years. And then all of a sudden I'm being called in for interview after interview. They're incompetent. They're absolute incompetent. And I can say that to their face. Even if they're watching this I'll say it to their face. They're absolute incompetent.
Salim's outraged the DSS has questioned his dedication to job hunting.
I would like them to please explain to me what am I doing wrong? What have I done wrong? When have I sat on my backside and not ignored searching for work?
He's so angry, Salim's turning to his local Member of Parliament for help. But will it prove successful?
But I've got all this evidence that I brought for you, Paul, to see.
I'm not going to do that now.
And I've had struggle. All I'm worried about is the harassment.
We are too ready to spoon feed individuals in our society without encouraging them to stand up on their own 2 feet.
Inside, there is a part of me that just wants to go, get up and get a job. Or, okay, do it, but I don't want to pay for you. It evokes that reaction.
Like every young girl, Freya Dawson wanted her 21st birthday party in June 2008 to be something special. And when Daddy is rich-listed haulage magnate Peter Dawson, worth an estimated $240 million, you can let your party plans run riot.
Everything was done and organised with every single guest in mind. We wanted to give someone a night to remember. So people came and they'd go away and talk about it for weeks.
Until that party, no one had heard of this 21-year-old rich girl.
outside of her polo clubs and her close circle of friends. Now suddenly people know who she is. I think it will help enormously that the tabloid media went for her, and although some of the coverage may have been a little bit vicious, that's certainly no problem at all. All publicity is good publicity.
It's created a worldwide media scandal that put Freya Dawson on the map. The tabloid press claimed it was an idle little rich girl's £4 million party of epic proportions.
I mean, it was the kind of party that very, very rich people are able to throw. So we're talking, hiring DJs like Head Candy and Mark Ronson. No, those people don't come cheap. You're looking at a lot of money. One of the marquees, we were told, was one of the biggest marquees you can actually get in Europe. You know, the catering was extravagant and lavish. The adornments around the tent. There was pretty much a whole village that was built on this estate of theirs. So, I mean, it was extremely, extremely lavish party.
The pinnacle was to be an elaborate Vegas-style performance of music numbers from Moulin Rouge, performed by Freya herself.
My main highlight of the whole night was performing, getting up in front of, you know, the 450 people that were there and you know, doing it was amazing.
You throw a party and the party is all about you. Freya came down from the ceiling in a massive, great big hoop, and she had these amazing kind of dance troupe to accompany her, and she had Mark Ronson on stage. She was singing Valerie with.
If you look back at photos, like, that smile on my face on that stage is not fake. You cannot fake that kind of smile. I can tell you now that being up there was the happiest moment of my life.
It is an incredibly sort of self-indulgent way to throw a party. I mean, a lot of people would probably feel that a party's about, you know, like-minded people and friends coming together and enjoying each other's company. Whereas that kind of party is very much about, look, this is my party, I threw it, here I am, and adore me.
Freya was convinced that her 450 party guests had a night to remember. But what she didn't know was that 48 hours later, her party was going to become far more memorable.
And all I remember is going into this newsagent's in Clapham, buying the Daily Mirror, and sitting on the bus in the bus shelter. And we opened it, and suddenly just this double-page spread in front of us. Not even about the party, but about myself. And it was at that point that I just broke down into tears.
Now, 9 months after the event, for the first time, Freya talks exclusively about the party.
I will set the record straight. No, my party didn't cost £4 million. No, we didn't pay Mark Ronson £1 million for a 45-minute set. No, her plane didn't write Happy Birthday in the sky. No, I never had a Range Rover to drive to lessons in. No, I don't buy my friends. I could go on, but you get what I'm saying.
The figures quoted by the tabloids may have been exaggerated, but it was still a lavish event where no expense was spared. But rather than Freya's party performance being just a costly self-indulgence, Freya sees it as a launchpad for a successful pop star career.
I think that it's, you know, a lot of young girls dream of becoming a pop star, a singer, and, you know, bright lights and all that, but it's up to you if you want to make it a reality.
Freya claims that she isn't a spoilt sloth, living off daddy's fortune, and says her part-time job at Harrods is funding her ambitions.
It is good fun, and it's been really, it's been eye-opening, and it's been really good for me to go, you know, I've got a normal job. Everyone might think, oh, Harrods, it's really glamorous, like, that's not a difficult job. Tell you, a 9-hour shift, on your feet, in heels, that is hard work.
According to Freya, the income from her part-time job pays for the hire of the famous Pineapple Dance Studios and 2 professional choreographers.
When we first started working with her, she'd had limited experience dance-wise, so it was a case of getting her up to speed, teaching her the basic stuff, and then as a choreographer, the skill there is to get the dancers around her to enhance her to the maximum ability.
It also pays for a team of top dancers. Accomplished session musician Jake Isaac, and top studio engineers.
Having Paul McCartney's sound engineer, well, you know, the recording industry is a relatively small community. It certainly shows. This is not a budget kind of recording studio in the middle of nowhere in someone's garage. You know, this was a high-profile recording studio with a lot of equipment and a lot of expertise, which she was able to hire out.
So is Freya working hard holding down a part-time job to pay her way? Or is Daddy simply funding her elaborate hobby?
It's very easy to level the charge of sloth against Freya because she's trying to get into an industry that is incredibly competitive. It is the kind of industry where people will slave hours every day. Most people get into the music industry through really, really hard graft. They do gigs wherever they can. They'll do the toilet circuits. They'll do whatever they can to get noticed. And it's very easy to portray somebody essentially as being slothful or lazy because they have a rich financial backer who'll do everything for them.
It doesn't strike me that she's actually being particularly slothful. I mean, there are a lot of people in the music industry who work far less hard on what they do and get a lot further than she's going to get. But I think it's kind of ironic that obviously the money that's allowing us to do this is from her dad, who worked very hard to build up that fortune, and it's kind of being passed on to somebody who's just kind of using it to fund a hobby, really. And I think if you look at it as just being a hobby and something that she's just doing for a laugh, then it's fine. But if she thinks it's going to lead to something more and that she's going to become Britney, then she's pretty deluded.
My perception of sloth is someone that's lazy, someone that, you know, doesn't want to make their way in the world, someone that will get by on what other people give them. As far as people having this perception that, you know, I might represent sloth in modern society, I'd have to disagree.
It's not about whether you earn £150,000 a year, £1 million a year, or £20,000 a year. It's that you have a sense of personal worth and ambition. It's about saying, I'm good at this, and I'm going to work at it. It's about saying, I'm unafraid to take on new responsibilities. I'm unafraid to learn. Sloth is the enemy of that.
Lucy Durans is a self-confessed gold digger. She's searching dating websites for a rich sugar daddy to fund a life of slothful leisure for her and her children. And in 2007, she thought she'd found the perfect match on a website called Loopy Love. She met a Turkish man called Al, who said he was a managing director of a company based near Windsor, earning £80,000 a year. And they went on a date.
First impressions, nice car, brand spanking new car, nicely dressed, designer clothes, very polite. Genuine guy.
The first date had swept Lucy off her feet. Things were moving very quickly.
On the third time we met, I wanted him to meet my children, which we went down, he picked us up, and we went down to London for the day.
I thought he was a decent guy, like, seemed really nice, and I really did take to him.
We stayed in Dorchester in London, we had a night out in London, we've been to opera, I've been all over really.
He seemed very attentive towards her. He came across as a really loving, attentive, nice guy.
Al suggested a romantic break to Turkey, where Lucy met his family. And while in Istanbul, colourful Turkish fashions caught her eye. Lucy decided she'd like a small business as a hobby, importing the clothes and accessories to sell in the UK.
Obviously it was difficult for me because they don't speak English and I don't speak Turkish. So he can speak both fluently, so he took that side over.
On their return from Turkey, Lucy's slothful dreams took a step closer to reality.
Well, we decided that we were going to build a life together. He moved in with us. Just a couple of weeks later, he moved in with us. We went and put a deposit down on this just over £500,000 house.
And then after only knowing each other for 6 months, Al asked Lucy to marry him.
You know, it was just a fairy tale, some knight in shining armour has come to rescue me.
I was happy because I thought he was a decent guy for her, and I saw that she was happy with him.
She'd obviously been alone a long time bringing her kids up, and, you know, for me personally, I just thought it was nice that somebody loved her that much and was going to look after her and the kids, and she wouldn't have to worry anymore.
Al told me that I was going to be his future daughter, and I could look up to him as a dad.
I didn't want actually a big wedding, but I didn't want to register either, so we went for a little sort of manor house.
But it wasn't just wedding bells that were ringing in Lucy's head. There were alarm bells too.
I sent out all the invitations, obviously, to my family and his family, but only my family came.
It's a big day for long-term unemployed Mohammed Salim. He's been jobless for 3 years and claims he's being harassed by the Department for Social Security, who wonder why he hasn't found a job. He's going to take his claims to his local Member of Parliament.
Paul, how are you?
Rochdale MP Paul Rowan has agreed to fit the meeting into his busy schedule.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Have a seat there.
Thank you very much.
What can I do for you?
You can do a lot for me to help me the problems I'm having with the employment people and why am I getting this harassment.
The rules are quite clear. Benefit is not automatic and you should take whatever suitable employment is made available.
I'm following the process. I am getting repeated letters coming in. They're asking me to take up job agencies that have blatantly refused to respond to my application.
Well, there is a procedure that you have to go through and there's a code of conduct that the department works to, and what you need to do, if you're not happy with that, then you follow the appeal process. I can only get involved once you've been through that process. What I can't do, and I'm not going to do, is interfere with the department doing what I think is their legitimate role, which is making sure that anybody who's claiming benefit is claiming it legitimately.
But I've got all this evidence that I've brought for you, Paul, to see.
I'm not going to do that now.
And I've had struggle. All I'm worried about is the harassment from you.
No, I told you what to do. There's an appeal process. Once the adjudicator's made the decision, I will review the paperwork. What I'm not going to do is give you any special treatment above anybody else.
No, and I'm not asking for that.
All right.
And we've not got to that stage as yet.
Well, then you must get your appeal in.
I've not even needed to appeal. I've not even needed to appeal, Paul. I've not even got... It's the harassment that's worrying me. I've not even got to the appeal stage. They've not refused anything. Where is it? How's it going?
Unabashed at wasting the politician's very important time, Salim finally takes up his advice and has a meeting at his local job centre. And he's managed to convince them that he's actively seeking work.
Cheers now, thank you. Thanks a lot. See you now, bye. It's a victory for myself in a way that I've proven to them with the documentary evidence that I'm not sitting on my backside, that I am on the go, I am doing the work. So hopefully, God willing, they're off my back.
So for now, and with no prospect of employment in sight, Salim returns to his slothful lifestyle. But does he consider himself a sinner?
I am a sinner. I put my hands up. I am a sinner in that respect because I'm not putting anything into society to keep it going.
At the gates of heaven, how does Salim think he'll be received by the Almighty?
He'll think I've been a sloth and I wasted my talents and the gifts that he's given me. I'd say yes, I have, because I've not been utilised.
– 39-year-old single mother of 4 Lucy Durans is a self-confessed gold digger who is following a lifelong ambition to be spoilt by a wealthy man. She thought all her dreams had come true the day she married Al, a Turkish man who claimed to be a wealthy managing director of a successful company.
My mum on the wedding day seemed really, really happy, and it was all smiles all day, so I thought they both turned into one.
Al told Lucy that his boss would pay for a family honeymoon, but just 48 hours after her wedding, Lucy was in for a life-shattering disappointment.
The Monday morning, he got up to go to work, gave me a kiss, left me some money on the side, which were £9.50, and went to work and never come back. I had a few texts, which I can't remember exactly what they said. But then he went over to Turkey, to Istanbul.
Lucy realised that her fairy tale romance had been a complete sham, and the warning signs had been all too clear.
If we'd went to a big posh restaurant. I mean, this happened on a couple of occasions. He'd order all this food and keep it coming and keep it coming. And sometimes it could be really abusive to the people because it didn't come fast enough. And then when it come to paying, he'd either forgot his wallet or his card wouldn't work. So I ended up paying for that. And then we'd go someplace and he'd put petrol in his car and he'd go in to pay and then say, oh, I forgot my wallet, can you just pay for this? Then you go, yeah, of course I can. You know, you don't even think about that this guy's trying to rip me out and rip me off.
But when Al failed to turn up for a date with Lucy one weekend, his excuses became far more elaborate.
He rang me up and he's shouting. He's not actually talking to me. He's having a conversation with a supposed police officer, right? There were nobody else talking. About an hour and a half, 2 hours later, I get another call from a withheld number and he's crying down the phone telling me he'd been arrested in Windsor and the phone cut off. So I rung the main switchboard up and there were no record of anybody being arrested by his name that day. And I'm driving and I'm thinking, if I confront him, he's going to go off, he's going to start crying, then he's going to tell me how honest and genuine he is, and that it's their mistake and not his mistake.
Avoiding confrontation, Lucy never found out the truth behind Al's claims of arrest. But one of his last cynical charades exposed an extreme callousness.
The week before the wedding, my dad weren't very well, and I really wanted him to be there. I mean, it's the first time I'd been married. And I said to him, can we just postpone it for a couple of weeks?
But Al wasn't prepared to wait.
He faked an heart attack the day before, and because of the upset of me saying I didn't want to marry him on that day, he faked the heart attack. I did tell a few people that there's something, just something not right. And everybody kept saying, oh, you know, he's silly, he's everything. If you actually confronted him about anything, he'd start to cry and tell you how honest and genuine he was. Every other week, 40 pink roses would turn up. You don't think that this guy's actually ripping me off.
She was left with £4,500 worth of unpaid bills. Al owed her parents £2,000. And Lucy was further shocked when paperwork revealed what had happened to a sum of £5,000 that she'd given Al to invest in her sideline fashion company.
He'd sent the bank statement in with my $5,000 going in and only £321 being paid to the people who I'd bought the goods off. So he'd actually ripped me off for that money and just kept it.
Al's fraud wiped out all Lucy's savings.
It's probably cost me altogether about just over £16,000.
Lucy believes it wasn't just the money he was after. What Al really wanted was proof of having a British family to avoid national service on his return to his native Turkey. Ironically, for someone who dreams of being a kept woman, she now has to work in a local bar to earn back what she'd lost.
I thought I'd found somebody genuine, and somebody's just made an absolute fool out of me. And not only me, but my children as well, and my family, because my family really touched him and loved him as well.
I really did look up to him as dad, and it's like, well, to be honest, I hate him now, to what he's done to our family. The way he's hurt my mum, the way he's taken money, and it's all been lies. I just got so much hate for him, and I loved him so much.
If I'd have sat down and felt sorry for myself, I'd have never got back up. It's like you've got to get back up because your kid's there. You've got to build them back up. You've got to, put a front on for them, so to speak.
Despite being emotionally and financially devastated by a conman preying on her dreams, Lucy is still searching the internet to find a rich sugar daddy.
If you put £1 on lottery this week and you don't win, you do it again next week. And because I didn't win this time, don't mean to say I'm not going to win next time.
So is Lucy a single mother who wants the best for her and her children? Or is she a slothful sinner?
If somebody tried to accuse my mum of being sinful, it wouldn't mean or harm me in any way, because I don't have any meaning to the word.
For what I've been through, I don't think it's sinful what I've done. what I'm doing or just looking for somebody like that. I don't think that's sinful. I don't want to be with somebody what's got no money. I don't see as I'm a sinner for that. But then again, if I am, I am. And I'm sure they'll have better parties down there anyway.
It seems the deadly sin of sloth is still prevalent in the 21st century. Sinners are discarding their God-given skills and talents, damaging our wider society as a whole.
Laziness, I believe, is a very deadly sin because it's a desire to absolutely waste one's life.